We need to be ready when they come for the boy.
We already are. Having him gives us an advantage.
It can be useful with Lydia, too. If she feels something with someone like him, from somewhere like that, you need to know.
Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, guys. I'm Jarrell.
And I am Josh, and today we're here to give our review of episode 12 of The Walking Dead Season 9,
Guardians.
Thank you. Again, that's the second video in a row. Yes, Guardians. This was a wicked episode.
This was the most brutal episode so far. We got a lot of good information, a lot of foreshadowing for us comic book readers. But we got a lot of good aspects, I think, of the Whisperers. We wanted to know what the Whisperers were about. We get in this episode. We do get a little bit of Alexandria. We do not get the kingdom at all. So let's just jump right into the opening.
Yeah, we typically don't like to go scene by scene. No. We kind of like to have an open discussion type review of some of the things that we liked.
We'll do the opening, Alexandria, and then get into the good stuff.
Yeah, the opening was
it was simple.
Yeah.
But because as we watched the video, we're messaging each other, and if you saw when Alpha is grilling Lydia on the information she's wanting to get.
Oh yeah, dude, I loved this.
Just how when Alpha stops, the Whisperers just circle around her.
Yeah, it's like good. It's almost like worker bees protecting their queen.
Exactly.
It's kind of like how a vibe that I picked up on. You didn't really catch it at first, but like she stops a couple of times while she's talking to Lydia, and it was like the second time you could really see that they were circling her and just like keeping her protected. It was awesome to see that.
And what was there was a little minor detail, but if you got a glimpse of, you're wondering where did Alpha get that apple from to give to Lydia, there was actually a Whisperer carrying a huge satchel full of them. You saw it for like a split second. I was like, oh, there's a dude just carrying apples. Yeah. That's probably what they eat off of or whatever. But I did like how Lydia kind of starts to, in a way, talk back to her mother. She's like, is this why you got me out? For this information? But the information that Lydia got was more than what we knew. She was like, they have guns, very little amount. They're using, basic weapons, kind of like how we do. She talked about the hilltop a little bit. She gave some information that we didn't hear from the communication between her and Henry.
She also didn't tell her about the kingdom.
She did not say that. I thought she was going to.
Who knows if behind the scenes, where they don't actually show scene of it, of her telling her about the kingdom. But essentially, and this could be Lydia not knowing all of the information too. Like, how do you really know what their weapons cache is really what it amounts to?
Exactly. That's how I didn't understand.
They make bullets.
Yeah.
So you can't sit there and tell me that they're not armored. And even
unless she made it up.
And even Daryl himself told the Alpha, we could blow you away,
right,
as quickly as we want.
So I wonder if she just made it up.
I think so.
I think they have a few weapons, nothing major, but they use primitive weapons or whatever.
And I think that this shows, and we see it later on in the episode, Alpha kind of not necessarily believing Lydia, we kind of see that. And maybe this goes into it. Maybe she knows, well, look, this isn't what their so-called leader is telling me. Yeah. He's telling me they're going to blow me away as soon as I want.
Yeah, I think later on when Henry gets involved, I think that's when Alpha starts to really see the disconnect in Lydia. She kind of understands. She kind of notices that there's possibly feelings there.
But the whole point of this is Lydia is essentially telling her mother and reassuring her mother, look, I had to lie.
Yeah. And even Alpha says that. You had to lie. She asked if Daryl touched her or hurt her. I love they took your mask. He was like, yeah, he snatched it off me. But so yeah, the opening was really good. So I'd say let's go into Alexandria.
Sure.
Get that out of the way. Parts of this, so the whole thing with Michonne,
we get a little bit more information.
Yeah, I understand
about the inner workings of Alexandria.
Yeah, I understand her point. So I understand her point, and I understand the council's point. So
I don't understand her point at all. I'll tell you that straight up.
It's kind of like here it is. So Michonne is very pissed off that Eugene and Gabriel and Rosita went out to set that relay, which inevitably almost got them killed. It got Jesus killed. So Michonne right now is kind of like season 3 Michonne when we first met her. She was very enclosed to herself. She only cared about herself. So, and that's the way she is now. She wants to confine herself in this community and not go out to risk their lives. But I get the other side to it, of course. Like, yes, you are trying to communicate and contact other groups. But I love how Gabriel said, we need to know what's going on with the rest of the world.
Yeah, the most important thing about this, though, is that, like I was saying, we get to know their inner workings of how Alexandria has operated post-Rick. And that is, there is a council, a body council, that makes decisions on Alexandria. However, Michonne is the final vote.
She's vetoing everything.
It doesn't matter what the council votes on, because it essentially gets to Michonne, and she will either decide to go with it or veto it. Yeah. And it sounds like everything that has had to do with Alexandria outreaching to the other communities, whether that's trading, whether that's dealing with the most recent fair and the kingdom, Michonne has vetoed. It's interesting, like that. After Rick passed away, Michonne has been given leadership of Alexandria. But what really angers me about that is that if I'm Michonne, I would certainly be thinking, well, is this what Rick would want?
Right.
Like, why would you do something against Rick's wishes?
I think she's just, because she has Judith and RJ, I think, and everyone else, I think she's trying to say, okay, I don't get the whole not helping your other communities out, but I understand you not wanting to take excessive risk to put people at risk, but
risks that they've been taking for years.
Exactly, but you're also defying what the council is meant for, these charters, to agree on things and not veto it. So I love the line of where Sadiq asked her, he's like, well, what's the point of us surviving if the kingdom falls? Because the kingdom they understand they are very, very close to just being done. And Michonne was just like, well, you know what it means? Alexandria survives. Yeah. So she basically said, F the kingdom. If they die, it's on them. It's their fault. But I hated that part.
I hated it too. We do get, that gives us a little bit more information about the state of the kingdom as well. So the kingdom is on the brink of collapse.
They need this trade fair.
They need it. Another interesting thing is here's Aaron, who just got finished losing Jesus, agreeing with Michonne.
Yeah, he stays on her side. Up until the point she does decide to have another revote, and she said, I won't veto it. But I think Aaron's just dealing with emotions right now. He understands. I honestly think they all understand each side, but because Michonne is so nope veto, the council has lost faith in her, and Aaron is just. It seems like Aaron's going to stick by her side no matter what.
Yeah,
wasn't
it cool seeing Gracie?
Oh my God! When she said Gracie, I was like, "Oh my! I almost forgot about Gracie."
So this is where Michonne actually goes to Aaron and says, "Look, I appreciate you being on my side, but I want you to be the first to know if they vote for the kingdom, the fair. I'm not going to veto it this time." Mm-hmm. Which I do want to note one other thing about the kingdom is Michonne said that the path, the route to the kingdom
is dangerous. Right. That's one reason why she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, and that's interesting too. So in the 6-7 years that this time skip, they have not done what they've done in the comics, which is get those outposts and get those people monitoring the traffic of the walkers.
And that reminds me from last episode, because when the kingdom was out doing their mission, they were like, we need to hurry because a herd's going to be upon us in an hour. It's like, what herd? It's like just a herd they know is coming through.
They might have seen that on the way there.
Yeah. So that's what I was wondering, like, what herd though? But it's not like herds, just they keep migrating or whatever. So that's true. They may have not been.
And also, Michonne mentions we have people wearing skin and acting like walkers after us.
The Whisperers is the biggest thing.
Yeah. So I mean, in the end, the decision is made to send a welcome wagon or a wagon to the kingdom, which was interesting because if you were watching this live, I don't know if you picked up
I
on
was.
this.
Yeah, I was watching it live.
They actually cut to the scene of loading the carriage too early in the episode.
Yeah, they did.
Then they cut to commercial again.
Yeah.
Then they cut back to that.
Yeah, that's what they do. I don't know why they're doing that. But also, this is one of the other times where we've gotten to see the windmill. We saw it a lot, and dude, they spent so much money building that thing. It's good to see that windmill. And I don't know why those little things make me happy. Just seeing a windmill is pretty sweet.
So I think there were two other things that happened in Alexandria that are worth noting, and that one is Negan.
Negan and Rosita and Eugene and all that stuff. Negan was big. That was a pivotal moment from the comics, which it would have been
remixed.
Yeah, it was remixed.
So in the comics, Negan reaches out his hand, offers his hand to help with the situation in Alexandria and the threat of the Whisperers and the community altogether. Negan offers that help to Rick. Here's Negan offering that help to Michonne.
Yeah, and she's just not... I was kind of also mad at her, but I understood. But like, she wasn't listening to a word that they said. And even when Michonne was talking with Judith of like, oh, you're seeing Negan? Like, why didn't Judith say... Like, I really wanted her to say, well, I'm the one who let him go, and I'm the one who brought him back. Like, you know what I mean? But she probably would have been just furious. But
another thing that I loved about that was Negan mentioning our faithless leader,
the
by
merciless
name.
Rick Grimes, because he
loved that.
Because he's trying to prove a point. Like, you're keeping me alive to prove to everyone else that Rick Grimes is merciful and your life is better because I'm sitting here, you know, going to die in a jail cell. But Negan's kind of like, look, I can really help. I can be a leader, if not so much a leader, I can help out, which I really, really liked.
From leader to ex-leader.
Yeah. Leader to ex-leader. So a quick prediction on that. I do predict that Negan will not get out of the cell this season.
No.
I think he will possibly get his cell break from the comics, similar to that. Won't go into it, but I think he'll get out. I think he'll get some comic book story, and then we'll get back. And that'll be in season 10.
We may not see Negan again this season.
Probably not. That's season 10. So Gabriel, Siddiq, and Rosita.
It's interesting. We opened this episode with Rosita. It looked like she was trying to hide the pregnancy from trying to put on the jeans. She says, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
and she was trying. It looked like she was going to hide it, but no. Gabriel knows about it. Gabriel
knew the whole time.
He knows that it was Siddiq. So, in the time of Rosita getting back to Alexandria, she must have confessed to Gabriel that I am carrying Siddiq's baby. But she knows, or she has told Gabriel, I love you. This was before we got together. Right. And now it's up to you whether you want to continue this, because this is something that I want.
Yeah, and Eugene kind of gives, Eugene expresses he was in love with her, but he's like, she loves you, you love her. Yes, it's another guy's baby. He brings charts. Yeah. Of what to do with somebody else's progeny. Like.
And her happiness was at all-time high during Gabriel. And it was funny because during the Talking Dead, the actor who plays Eugene said, it's funny because if you actually zoom into that, there are like values placed on certain things. Like if Gabriel was going to be good at teaching the kids sports, that was +5 or something like that. That's funny. But yeah, like it was just cool hearing
just
that.
Classic Eugene. Yeah. I mean, but he does, he gives her, Eugene, Gabriel to say, hey, bring her some stretchy pants because she's going to be, getting bigger soon. So just do it. And it was sad to see Eugene because I was glad that he finally expressed his love for her.
But I think that's just Eugene's way of, look, if I'm not going to be with her, then I want her to be happy.
Exactly.
I think that's his way of making her as happy as he can because he does love her.
Yeah.
But in the end, it doesn't look so good for Rosita's fate because that's essentially Eugene giving his piece.
Right. Yeah. So there was a lot of people online, too, that were kind of poking fun at this because Rosita is showing a lot more than Maggie did in 3 years. In 3 seasons.
That's
like
true.
Maggie didn't have any problem putting on pants or something, but yeah,
that's very true.
It's funny.
In the end, we get a shot of Rosita, Eugene, and Siddiq getting up and walking in the house
Going in the house together. I guess to talk about the plan.
I guess so.
They're going to baptize him? No. Baptize the baby? So, the end of this episode was absolutely just sick. Just because like we said, Henry follows them to the camp. Their temporary camp. They're just kind of place to stop.
I think it was just a stop along the way.
And we get a challenge. So
we get to their camp first, which was an amazing reveal.
That's at
itself.
that was at the camp. Well, the challenge wasn't at the camp, was it?
Yeah.
Was it the true camp?
So First, they get to this place where they stop.
Right.
And this is where Beta reveals to Alpha, look, this kid's been following us after they capture him.
Lydia plays her part, punches him in the face.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're so stupid.
Plays it up like she's against Henry and she's not.
Yeah.
I didn't say Ben.
That's right.
But when they got to that camp,
man.
just, I don't know what it was. Like,
animals.
It was the way they walked into that camp that was just like, oh man.
We get
a first shot of all of the, I would call them commoners or other people in that camp. And you brought up one thing that I kind of liked. Do you have to earn your mask?
Yeah, because even at the end shot when when Daryl came in and was, there were still whisperers that actually put on their masks, but there was a lot of people without masks. So I'm wondering if you have to earn your mask. I don't know how. But I wonder if you do. I wonder if you have to be with them for so long. You have to maybe, I don't know, kill somebody to show your allegiance. I don't know what it is, but just how they're sleeping on the ground. They don't have any fires. They're eating raw meat. They're animals. They don't bathe, as we know. But it was funny because this is where we get the challenge, because in Alpha's walking in, you kind of saw people looking at her like, I was thinking, they're gossiping because they know she broke the rules.
Well,
you know what I mean?
A couple of them are not happy.
Two of them.
At least two of them express their opinion. Now, the rest might feel like this, but these two express their opinion. But Alpha immediately goes after the woman.
Because she knows that...
After the gentleman is the first one to express his dismay with her choice of going after her daughter and getting her daughter. Then she goes to the woman and says, it's not him.
It's you.
It's you.
Yeah, dude. When she... I loved it just because that's, she even told Beta later, we haven't had a challenge in a couple years. But that's how you overthrow somebody. You challenge them. Beta will never do it because Beta was first to get in there and basically almost kill that guy for even attempting to do anything.
And it helps. I was telling a coworker this when we were talking about the episode is he said that, no one's going to step up to Alpha. And I'm like, well, yeah, it helps when you have Beta on your side too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the challenge doesn't go well for the woman.
Completely decapitated.
It was the creepiest scene I have ever had. Not just the decapitating, but how she did it.
Yeah.
Circling her, then standing right next to her and saying "big mistake" or something like that. I forgot.
Well, the lady said,
"It's too late.
I don't want to fight you," and she says, "Too late." So where she had that wire was on her wrist, and how she slowly moved it off. But for you non-comic book readers out there, I'm sure you've probably heard Heads on Pikes, which will be happening in 3 weeks, unfortunately. But that kind of gave you a snapshot of her holding that head, of just how quickly it's going to happen in episode 15, where we're going to see Heads on Pikes. So be prepared.
It was a foreshadowing.
It's a foreshadowing. It's going to be insane.
And if anything, it shows us who does it.
It's Alpha. It's Alpha.
And so she ends up killing the guy, too.
Yeah. After she gives him the head to hold, and he starts crying. And what's the biggest thing? Don't cry. Shows you're weak.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, it was a brutal scene. But I think it was amazing, and it really showed us the dominance that Alpha has, because she says out loud while these people are challenging her, I protect these people.
Mm-hmm. I keep them alive.
Yeah.
They follow me. And what you also during this, like I mentioned to him, if you look in the background at Lydia, she's standing there with her arms crossed like, oh, here we go again, Mom. Here's another one. Like, she's like, if you look at all the other Whisperers, they stand there with their heads down. They look down. I mean, I'm sure they can still look with their eyes up, but their heads are down. And yeah, Lydia's just like, all right, here we go again.
You know what was really cool that I just thought of? As the opening of the episode, you have them walking, right? And just the way that they're walking walking like walkers. Mm-hmm. Even Lydia's doing it, and she has no walker skin on. So it tells you she's been doing it for so long that it's kind of like if you've ever watched Breaking Bad and Jesse at the end is cuffed and shackled for like years, when he finally gets unshackled, he still walks like that because he's just so used to being shackled. And that's kind of what reminded me of Lydia still walking like a walker, even though she doesn't have the skin on.
Yeah, it was cool. So brutal, amazing scene. I absolutely loved it. So we get to basically what I call the choice, and the awesome. I could not imagine Daryl putting on a Whisperer mask. But,
even before that, though, just real quick, I'm sorry. We get to Beta taking off Alpha's mask, and the importance about that scene,
the conversation,
is that conversation where she
almost shows her weakness a little bit.
Almost a little, yeah.
But comes back to show what Alpha's truly been about.
She tells a story of young Lydia who happened to step away from her at one point when she was a child and runs into a plastic bag, accidentally gets the plastic bag over her, and is literally about to die before Alpha intervenes and takes the bag off of her. Turning purple, she finally catches her breath, and Alpha, because we don't know her name, says, "Are you okay?" She says, "Yes," and then immediately says she hits her so hard so that it would teach her a lesson.
Which goes back to what she did when she got Lydia back at the hilltop. She slapped her in the face. So we're led to believe that Alpha has always been this way. Yeah, she has always been this crazy mad person. So yeah, that was pretty brutal to hear.
But it's during that scene that Beta says, "Well, it seems like she has feelings for this Henry person.
We need to protect ourselves because they're going to come for the boy." Yeah. And so they decide that this was before they moved to their true camp. They're at their kind of temporary stopping point. So we get to the choice, and I knew it was coming. Beta grabs Henry. They're at a dark area, kind of in their mask making area. They're also Whisperers in the woods, standing around a circle watching. Alpha throws the knife down, tells Lydia to pick it up and kill the boy. And Lydia starts crying, and Alpha says, "Stop crying. It's weakness, just like your father." And Lydia turns and says, I know how my father died.
Alpha asks her, "Do you want to die like your father?"
Your father, yeah.
And she kind of talks back to her and says, "I know how my father died."
Yeah.
And I just think in the craziness, I don't think Alpha completely picked up on it. Or maybe Alpha did and just doesn't care.
No, doesn't care.
But
she wants
my
Lydia
question
to show
for
her
you,
loyalty.
If this was not interrupted by walkers, would Lydia have killed Henry?
No.
No? You think? 90% of the audience, when asked that in a poll for The Talking Dead, said the same thing.
Yeah.
So
no, she wouldn't have.
In the end, yes. This moment is interrupted by a herd of walkers.
Yeah, so Daryl and Connie have been tracking them. A lot of people are hoping this turns into a relationship. I don't know, but they work pretty well together. But the fact that Daryl rolled in, they both wore Whisperer masks to get in, which was great. So what begs the question is, I assume this is going to start it all. This will eventually become why the Whisperer War starts. But how do they know it's Daryl that did this?
Because I think...
How do they know?
Because I think, and I'll go more into this in my prediction, but I think it will follow some kind of remixed version of the comics where Rick eventually gets to talk to Alpha for a little bit, and Alpha reveals something to Rick. Yeah. I think that scene is coming, which would be amazing.
It'd be great.
But I think that eventually Alpha is going to, I guess in a way, reunite with Daryl, or I don't know. I don't think they're going to get him because we've seen shots of the next episode. And we'll go into this in our predictions, but I think Alpha's going to get another chance to talk to Daryl soon.
Maybe. Or the next episode is going to be interesting.
Accepting the fact that Lydia is where she's at. So in the end, Daryl runs off and they drop the mask.
Yeah, they dropped the mask.
So
that was that scene that we saw in the trailer. The mask dropping. Yeah. I don't think he'll never use it. He'll never do it again. I think that's just the one-time thing of getting in to get Henry to get out. But the fact that Henry was like, "Look, I'm not leaving." At first, Daryl was like, "You leave her. I'm here for you." But of course, Henry's like, "I'm not leaving without Lydia."
See, but
I'm not
was
leaving.
he there for just Henry? Because like even before, like they when him and Connie were writing the notes together, and they were like, "I'm not okay with it." I assumed that was not okay with returning someone into an abusive relationship.
I don't know, but at first he said nope, she's not coming.
And I think that's because she wasn't at first willing to leave. Like she was kind of hesitant to go because maybe she didn't know how much time they had to get away.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Or
But
she didn't
yeah,
know if Alpha saw it or anything.
it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great.
One thing I want to ask you is like there was that scene where after the challenge occurred, the two people that were now dead from the challenge were then taken out and fed to the walkers.
That was one scene in the season 9B trailer where we were like, I wonder who they're dragging in that bag. Well, we finally know. You think that's how they get their skin? I mean, not obviously they don't feed their own people to the walkers, but in a situation like that, they probably pick off some of the walkers. Or I would assume since they're walking in herds, they can probably grab a walker every once in a while. They can grab a walker because what's interesting though is like, so the herd that Daryl grabbed to go into the Whisperer camp, they were just outside the camp.
They were in there.
And they were circling with them because that's where they dragged the bag. And then one guy came out and said, leave it, I'll draw them to you. Like, so they're out there all the time. I was shocked, to be honest, that Alpha and the Whisperers would even be susceptible to be attacked by a herd. Honestly, it didn't seem right. We didn't see. There had to be. They could have mixed that up a little bit differently. Yeah, they could have because we didn't see how Daryl got that herd to go that way. They would have had to kill at least one or two Whisperers that are in there, keeping them in a circle. Yeah. But picking them out. Here's my beef with that. 2 episodes ago, we had Daryl unable to change the direction of a herd because of the Whisperers. Yeah. And now all of a sudden he's able to steal a herd from the Whisperers and then use it against them. Yeah. Too soon. Yeah. But our predictions video is going to be awesome. Next episode, that action from Daryl is going to piss Beta off. And we are going to be getting the fight between Daryl and Beta in the next episode. Stay tuned for that. Yeah. So be prepared, guys. Like we said, we have Daryl and Beta fight next episode. We have 3 more weeks until the unfortunate Pikes. Who will end up on those Pikes, we have no idea, but we are excited to find out. Yeah. Let us know about your thoughts. And we definitely have a really interesting episode coming up called Scars. I am really looking forward to that because we're going to get some information and who knows? Will we get some kind of flashback scene with Rick? Maybe. That I don't know. It'd be nice. Might save it towards the end of the season. Maybe. That'd be awesome. All right, guys. Let us know what you thought of episode 12, Guardians of season 9 of The Walking Dead. If you're new to the channel, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us at NocBro Nation on Facebook and Twitter. I am Josh. I'm Jarrell. We're NocBro Nation. We're out.